all day I have had the thong song stuck in my head. I don't know the last time I've heard that.
I don't think I've heard
Just
that.
every now and then. That thong! Like, Cisco, you didn't have to go that hard for us. I appreciate it.
He really did do us some favors.
Hello, and welcome to Doc2Me, where each week we watch a documentary, drink, and discuss them. I'm Heather.
And I'm Kathleen.
And this week we are covering Fyre, the greatest party that never happened. This is the Netflix version of the Fyre movies. I much prefer this one because the Hulu one, Fyre Fraud, interviews Billy McFarlane. Fuck that guy.
He just looks like a douchebag.
He
is a douchebag, but he looks like a douchebag.
I much prefer this one because why the fuck would I want to hear one word that comes out of the mouth of someone who is literally in prison for being a con artist and a liar?
Yeah, just a real piece of shit.
That's like women who want to have a relationship with Ted Bundy when he's already in prison for murdering women. Like, I don't want any advice from him.
He just seems like a sweet soul. I don't think he did it.
So, Fyre, the greatest party that never happened, is a 2019 American documentary film about Billy McFarlane and the failed Fyre Festival of 2017. It was directed by Chris Smith and produced by Mick Przicki of Jerry Media, which Jerry Media is not great either, but I'll get into that later. And was released on Netflix on January 18th, 2019. In April of 2019, Netflix reported that 20 million households had watched the film during its first month of release. And I was one of them.
I actually did not have any interest just because it seemed like a bunch of pretentious people, but I'm glad I watched it.
That's what's so funny. I remember the evening of April 27th, 2017 very well. I was hanging out on Reddit when I saw the photo heard round the world of that pathetic cheese sandwich and wilted salad in the styrofoam container.
I am pretty sure you get better meals in prison.
I woke up early the next day to hop back online to see any updates, just glued to any information coming out about this shit show. And then finding out how much these fucking people spent on this was just pure icing on the cake. It was all just, it was so hilarious.
It really was. Like, there's a little bit of satisfaction when, like, rich people get ripped off.
When you could just throw thousands of dollars onto something and...
Yeah, like, I'm glad that, like, you know, people paid for what they did, but, like... Ha.
Yeah. So let's get into this. We start with the absolutely beautiful shot of the Bahamas where they're doing a promotional shoot. We get our first glimpse of Billy McFarlane.
He has like a punchable face. He just
has
really
to
does.
wear that backwards hat so you know he's a cool bro.
He just, like, every time I saw him, I was just like, that guy's a douchebag.
Yeah. He's walking around with Jason Bell, showing him the property and promising that this will be the biggest event of the decade, which you have no idea, you fucking moron. Now, he had told people that this was Pablo Escobar's private island, but if you do just the simplest of Googling, you would find out it was never owned by Pablo Escobar, but by a kingpin in his cartel.
Yeah, just...
I don't know, that seems kind of like a big difference to me, considering how many times he kept saying this was Pablo Escobar's island.
Yeah, and then you're like, oh, no, actually, it was just one of his lackeys.
Yeah.
Like, his henchmen.
It was this huge thing that was exclusive, and you could only get there by private jet, which, again, when you find out how many people are going, how on earth would you be able to get that many planes on this island? This wasn't in the 80s. Just a quick Google would have taken all of this down.
Well, yeah. I feel like a lot of people don't do their due diligence in, like, researching things.
No.
Which, I mean, if anything, 2020 should have, like, blown that out of the water. That, like, people do not research properly.
So 5 months before this goes down, we get the real first press release about Fyre Festival. Billy and Ja Rule, or Jeffrey Bruce Atkins, that doesn't seem like that would be his name.
No.
They are on a couch and announce it, and the irony that Ja Rule introduces Billy as his partner in crime. I scared the dogs when I laughed. So let's get into the background of how these two met. Billy McFarlane co-founded the card-based membership club Magnesis, but it's spelled like mag penises.
Everything, like, I feel like everything about this is just so pretentious and just laughable.
So he co-founded that membership in August 2013. Despite these cards being advertised as credit cards, they were just used a copy of the mag strip from a customer's existing bank card.
Sounds real exclusive.
Not even a credit card. So basically, you're paying $250 a year to just use a fancier version of your Bank of America card. The benefits offered to members included VIP access to clubs, hotel discounts, and other various exclusive events. And he hooked up with Ja Rule after booking him for one of the events. After getting scammed out of money trying to hook up with Ja Rule, how much did he lose out on?
I think it was like, the guy was like, give me $500 or something like that, and then he was like, give me $1,000, and then it was like, never.
Okay, go talk to this guy can hook you up, and then that guy wanted money.
Yeah, and then he just like never, just seemed stupid.
So once they were together, they came up with the idea to create an app where you could more easily book talent called Fyre, which I'm pretty sure those websites already exist.
Yeah, like, shit, what is it where you can, like, literally pay money and just get a celebrity
Cameo,
to, like, Cameo,
But then there's, like, other ones that you can just go to book people.
Yeah, that's a thing. It's a thing.
Again, this wasn't, like, 20 years ago. So they're sitting around trying to come up with ideas on how to launch this platform when someone suggests a festival for industry professionals. Billy runs with this idea, and we learn about Magic Bird, because these two idiots think they're as brilliant as Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. I didn't understand that.
I didn't quite follow that whole, like, I guess it was like their...
Because one's black and one's white, that was all I could get out of that. We never see them play basketball, so...
Well, and they're not even genius. Like, I just... It was a pretty far-fetched, and then just didn't make sense. Like, it was like, they're like... It reminded me of, like, Shake and Bake, like...
Yes.
Just like, okay, like, I guess it's your tagline, but, like, why?
So they've got this idea, they've got the money, they've got the island. Let's hire Jerry Media Company to promote this shit. Jerry Media started off in 2011 as an Instagram account called Fuck Jerry. It was created by Elliot Teebley, who basically just reposted stolen memes and jokes. And its popularity led to the creation of Jerry Media, so now it's thieves hiring more thieves. That was my problem of why they were involved with this. Because I'm like, already, I don't trust you to produce this. But I was like, well, it's better than listening to Billy talk.
Well, I mean, just the whole concept alone kind of threw me. Like, if you're trying to launch an app for... I just... Why would you throw a whole ass festival? Like, it just didn't quite... I mean, I guess I could understand throwing a party to launch your app, but, like, a private island festival, just
that's like 2 weekends. How does that... There was nowhere where they were like, this is how we book people. This is how easy it is to do it. It was just, we're just going to have a great party.
Yeah, so weird. Just, but again, he was a douchebag, so he was like having douchebag thoughts.
They start filming the promotional concepts by hiring the biggest female models and sending them to the island. All these attractive women, and the only thing Billy cares about is drinking and seeing some fucking wild pigs. What was his obsession?
Billy wants to see the pigs. Let's go see the pigs.
So obsessive.
They were cute pigs, don't get me wrong.
Like, how does nobody see any red flags in this, where he just wants to party? He doesn't care about working. Let's just drink and play with pigs.
Well, I mean, again, like,
Not, hey, let's focus on these shots. It's just, what do we got to get done so I can go play with pigs?
Yeah, he seemed like an idiot. Like, he didn't seem like a true businessman.
No.
He was more like a frat guy.
Yeah, I was just like, you're here to work on promoting this Fyre brand that you've already pumped so much money into, and all you really want to do is party. Party so much that he passes out on the beach during the middle of the day. Like, at least wait until sunset or for the cameras to be put away.
Yeah, it was just like, whoa, okay. Again, he was literally just like this frat kid coming in with some stupid harebrained idea, like...
Oh, and then the pilot that they used just got his license 6 months before and taught himself how to fly.
Microsoft Simulator.
That's terrifying.
I just want to point out that, like, my 7-year-old has played that. I would not trust her to fly a plane.
I've put a lot of hours into American Truck Simulator, so I think I can just hop in, start a convoy.
Get your trucking license.
Yeah.
You're just going to go ahead and, yeah. I was just like, what? These people have money and they're trusting this dumbass to fly them? Like, anyway, he seemed like a cool guy. He's, not a bad person, but, like, a flight simulator, really? Like, and he just goes... Like,
he's only, it's two separate things. He's only been flying professionally for 6 months, and he learned on Microsoft Flight Simulator.
I just, like...
You can't have both of those. It's one or the other.
Like, I'm not rolling in money, but, like, that'd be like me being like, okay, that's cool. I'll just go ahead and let this, like, surgeon who literally just got... qualified because he's been playing some video game. Like, it's a video game. Like, he got his license playing a video game.
At playing Operation.
Yeah, like, go ahead and remove my appendix. You've played Operation a few times.
So no one seems to be in charge of this fucking promo. It's basically Billy and Jad just coming up with drunk ideas that sound cool. They made the models post photos they had taken on Instagram, but don't even think to tell them to tag Fyre Festival in the photos. Like, the whole fucking purpose of this shoot and all the money spent to fly them there. And why did they record everything?
Well, it did give us some really great footage, but thank God, but...
We've got Billy and Ja on tape saying, we're selling a pipe dream to your average loser. Why? Why would you tape that?
Right, and it's this idea that these, like, super hot women are gonna be, like, hanging out with you and, like, drinking on a yacht with you and blah, 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 and it's like, that's not what's gonna happen. Like... basically, like, showing up to any fucking concert or festival and, like, no one that doesn't happen.
No.
That's not reality.
But the press from the trip catches people's attention, and not just because people are like, why the fuck are these women doing with Ja Rule and this sloppy dude? Which, that would be my question.
Yeah, again, he looks like some kid from, like, your average college fraternity, like, hanging out, getting shit-faced, like, constantly. Every time I saw him, he had, like, a beer in his hand. Like, he reminds me of, like, dudes I dated in my 20s.
And my favorite part was Ja says all the buzz from this is free press, which, bro, that's not how free press works.
Yeah, like,
you paid for all these people to be there.
Right, he paid literally every one of those models. Nothing is free about that. Like...
So launch day for this is December 12th, 2016. They have 400 influencers from around the world all posting the orange tile with hashtag Fyre Festival. Kendall Jenner alone was paid $250,000
just to post.
Just for one post. And within 48 hours, they sold 95% of their tickets. You have no idea what this truly is going to be, and yet you're just throwing thousands of dollars at it just because some teenager who was paid a shitload of money said it was cool? I don't understand that.
I think it's because you and I don't understand this whole, like, influencer thing to begin with. Like, don't give a fuck about, like...
Is it because we just had kids too early in our 20s?
I think that plays a part in it, because again, like, I don't get the whole concept of, like, Instagram and, like, just following these, like, I don't give a shit about, like, any of, like, the Kardashians or Jenners or any of those people. Like, I don't care what they're using, and just... But, I mean, maybe it's because I'm not trying to attain something, like, you know, celebrity or... Just, I am what I am.
We just know if they talk about something, they're just selling it, really. They're getting paid for everything they post.
Exactly. I guess I've just kind of, like, accepted that, like, I'm a 33-year-old mother of two who lives in fucking Texas. Like, this is my life, and I don't need people to think that I'm, like, living it up. Because, newsflash, I'm not. Like,
just a simple Google search on this guy would have told you that Billy McFarland is a fucking liar. Because surprise, that Magnesis thing was a joke. People would buy tickets for music shows or theaters, and the orders would be unfulfilled, or they'd book vacations and the tickets would be canceled at last minute.
Yeah, like if you saw any of the reviews, it would have shown you that the dude's an idiot.
Yeah.
And he's not managing one company, let alone,
you could Google his name, and there were articles before Fyre Festival that talk like, hey, this is a scam. I just don't understand it.
Not to mention there are, like, plenty of, like, better known credit card companies that are an actual credit card.
Yeah.
That are doing all of these things for you, and, again, are a legit credit card.
But Ja Rule says, come and enjoy the cultural experience of the decade, which, what culture?
It's just getting shit-faced in the Bahamas.
Bunch of idiot white people?
Yeah. It was a bunch of, like, 20-year-olds getting shit-faced on a beach. Like, thanks, but I could experience that literally anywhere.
Yeah. So some of the ticket packages, there was the duo that was in this luxurious tent that included round trip flight from Miami and Fyre Key, which that was the island. That was what they renamed it. 2 tickets to Fyre Festival, 2 twin beds, and you could upgrade to a VIP to include upgraded food and access to VIP areas and events. I don't remember them ever saying what these VIP areas or events were. I know they talked about a treasure hunt.
I just can't believe that they sold tickets to a concept that they hadn't planned literally any of.
Yeah. And they were renting out private homes to stay in. My favorite was...
They were calling them, like, villas. Like, they were calling... Like, they were doing, like, villas, and then they didn't have any actual fucking property. Not to mention, didn't they switch islands?
Yeah. I get to that, yeah.
Yeah, okay, good.
Because
that was
the one rule that they had.
Yeah.
So another...
It's like my one rule in my house. Don't eat food upstairs. My kid can't fucking follow it. Neither can Billy.
My favorite was for $250,000, you could get a yacht that included 10 tickets to Fyre Festival. The yacht slept 10. There was food, full crew, fuel from Nassau, which all this sounds nice until you see in the fine print that fuel is inclusive up to a predetermined gallon amount, which will be disclosed prior to the charter beginning. And once this amount is surpassed, you will be charged fuel at a per gallon rate, which that could be any fucking amount.
I mean, if you're, like, chartering anything, I can't imagine it's going to be, like, going up to Chevron and filling up your fucking, like...
So now they're really getting down to planning, and immediately Billy spills a drink on the floor plans of this.
Again.
Right away.
Again. He is literally this idiot frat guy. Like, just... the whole concept just blows my mind that, like, this guy is planning anything outside of, like, a bachelor party.
And everybody talks about how he's this genius, and I don't understand why people are just throwing millions at him.
I would like to say that we are geniuses. And We could definitely plan something way better than this.
I don't know if I even care to do it.
Well, I wouldn't, just because I hate people, but...
Exactly. I will plan to buy an island and just us are there. I'm fine with that.
I have put together better birthday parties for children than this man has thrown parties with millions of dollars. I've thrown some bomb-ass birthday parties a million times under his budget.
But were there pigs there?
There were not pigs, but I feel like I could have gotten pigs.
End of story. End of story.
Next birthday party's gonna have pigs. Just letting you know now.
So, yeah, immediately spilling this drink on the plants should have been taken as a warning of what was to come. And right away they realized they're trying to fit 5,000 people on a small island that can logistically only hold 800.
It's cool. Everyone loves being crammed together in sweaty, hot environments where everyone's shit-faced, let me tell you.
This just holds people. That doesn't mention the stages, the bars, the toilets that they're going to have to buy. That guy was like, we have to buy hundreds and hundreds of toilets.
Yeah, I think he was like, we need 1,000 toilets.
Yeah, it's not
that's a lot of fucking toilets.
It's not a one-day thing. This is a weekend, and then I think the next weekend they do it again. So they start to think that maybe we could sleep people on a cruise ship, because getting a bunch of drunk young people from an island to a ship should be easy.
And the idea of schlepping a bunch of drunk young people back and forth on water seems like a really safe idea. I mean...
I just then they just kind of scrap that plan, and the guy's like, why? This is the only way we can make it work. And they're like, he doesn't want to do it.
Yeah, but it would have been a better idea.
Yes.
It would have been shitty and stupid, but it still would have been a better idea.
Yeah. They're expecting these people to sleep in tents where it's hot and overrun by mosquitoes and other loud people around them. It's insane.
One of the guys was even like, my wife and I tried sleeping on a tent, or in a tent, to see how it would be, and it was fucking miserable. And it's like, yeah, I mean...
And that's just you guys there. You have to take account all the drunk people around you.
Yeah, and the fact that, the tents that you were sleeping in were probably vastly different than the ones they were trying to stick people in. I mean...
It's just insane.
I feel like Billy's probably never gone camping in his life, though. So, he probably doesn't know what the reality of, real life is like.
No. And they just keep cycling through consultants. Whenever anyone raises concerns about the logistics, they're gone.
Yeah, he would literally just fire you and move on to the next person.
Yeah. The rough estimate to throw this is going to cost $38 million.
Again, to launch an app.
And talent alone was $4 million. Oh, and it's 45 days out before they even start on the production for this, such as designing and building the stage. 45
days out, and they don't have places for people to sleep, bathrooms, a fucking stage for the performers to stay.
Something that should take at least a year, they're getting done in 45 days.
Yeah. Just...
on an island.
I've taken more time to plan, a first birthday party.
Yeah. But, hey, let's do this. Eventually, he's forced to bring in Andy King to help him, who kind of ran a lot of events for him with Magnesis. I keep having to think in my head. It's not Magnesis. Magnesis. For the island, according to Billy, they paid $10 million with $1 million up front. No one's even sure if this $1 million was even paid. And the new owners had wanted to change the reputation of the island, so the biggest rule was don't mention drugs, drug lords, or even Pablo Escobar.
Yeah, literally, one rule. You just couldn't mention those things.
Super simple. Not that hard.
Yeah.
But not for dumb Billy.
That's it. I mean, dude, if someone tells me they have a private island, that's all they have to say. They don't have to tell me that it belongs to anyone, because I don't give a fuck. It's a private island.
He's so dumb. He mentioned Pablo Escobar's island in the first fucking social media promotion, and they get kicked off the island.
Yeah, they literally lost the island. And they still, 45 days out, and they've lost the island.
Yeah, so on top of all the other planning, they have to find a new island, which was the whole point of this party, is it's going to be on an island.
Private and exclusive, and yeah.
So all the little planning they had done was basically trash. They find Great Exuma, which at least had plumbing. And this island is cool with it because they're being told it's going to help your economy, having all these rich people here, and create hundreds of jobs for Bahamians. God, I struggled with that.
Yeah. It's Bahamians.
A word. We're going to hold this event every year for at least 5 years, so tourism is going to boom.
Yeah, and I mean, these people, it was a great opportunity for them.
Yeah.
This whole concept of, bringing in income and just, that whole thing just wrecked me. I mean, because I texted you and I was like, oh my God, this poor woman.
So this isn't some empty island. People live there, and they're somehow going to have a music festival on empty land that's looked like it was set up for a housing development.
It was. It literally was this. They had, basically beach houses that were being built, and this. It wasn't some secret private island.
No.
People were living there. It was
there
a whole community.
A resort there.
Yeah, there was it was a sandals.
Yeah.
Just really not as fancy as it made it seem.
No.
Once you get
Not only that, it's going to be held the same weekend as the National Regatta, which is the biggest event in the area. The regatta basically doubles the population size of the island and fills up all the hotels that are booked in advance by a year.
Yeah, it just the whole they didn't put any thought and planning into any of this.
No. This island's already going to be super busy? It's fine, not a big deal.
Yeah, let's just throw thousands of more people on here.
Now remember, they've already sold packages to people that include staying in private residence. So now how are you going to find homes for 500 people to stay in? To make matters worse, they've oversold the tent tickets. Influencers, and there are about 250 of them, who had made the original post, had been promised a 1-bedroom, 3-person villa on the beach for free, which didn't even exist.
Yeah, and they're showing all these houses, and I mean, I'm not fancy, I'm really not, but those aren't villas, guys.
No.
Those are just some fucking beach houses that my middle class ass would stay in, in fucking Florida.
So Genius Billy's solution was to tell the influencers not to come.
Yeah, you guys have done so much for us, but fuck you guys, bye.
They're not paying, so why bother trying to find housing for them? And the bad press begins.
Not to mention, I would think that the influencers and, the...
I don't think he understands what influence means.
Right. Those are the people that you would think that you want there, because if you're designing an app where you're going to have, instant access to talent or whatever, you don't want Joe Blow. He's not going, he doesn't need to be celebrated at this party for fucking, it didn't make any sense. None of it made any sense.
People know Billy is a scammer at this point. They're realizing that the music acts that have been promoted for this haven't been paid. This isn't a deserted island because a resort's just a short drive away, and the luxury villas are leftover dome tents from Hurricane Matthew.
That's when I was just oh my God. They're literally gonna put people in fucking FEMA tents.
Yes. People working for Billy keep telling him he needs to just come clean about everything, because it's gonna be better for people to know, hey, you're gonna be in a tent with air mattresses before they show up. But he's a con artist, so you gotta lie until the very end and keep throwing money at the problem. Meanwhile, people still working for Fyre Media app haven't been paid on time or even at all.
Yeah, they're just... And I gotta say, the first time I don't get a paycheck, I'm fucking outs.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but, I don't work for free.
I'll give you 3 days to pay. After that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and I even, if you were, an up-and-coming, just, like a whole brand new like startup kind of thing. Like, if you can't pay your people, you're fucked.
Well, especially when you're working on this app and he's off at some island putting millions towards the app, yet he can't pay you.
Well, and I think that, like, he wasn't even necessarily throwing money at a problem. He was throwing the idea of money at a problem. He wasn't, I feel like a lot of these people, he was never giving them actual money. He was just giving the idea that they were going to get money. Like, I feel like so many people never got a cent.
Less than 2 weeks before the event, Fyre sends out emails to ticket holders that the event would now be cashless and cardless, and that they would need to pay in advance to add money to their Fyre band to cover purchases made at the festival.
Which, fuck that.
Now, the Fyre band was an RFID-equipped smartwatch-like ID that would be useless because, of course, there's poor Wi-Fi at the site. Fyre suggests $300 to $500 a day would be needed, which rakes in about $2 million for them. 40% of this was used to pay off short-term loans that were needed if they wanted this event to even happen. You want to be cool and join your friends on a jet ski, right? Throw out that money.
Yeah, the whole idea that, like,
And at this point, they're still short 350 tents, and the homeowners who are renting out their houses haven't even been paid. And the bad press is definitely getting out at this point. Like, I don't know why these people wouldn't just pull out at the first sign of trouble.
Because they were young and dumb.
Oh, God. So there's still 10 days to go. The catering team was going to charge them $6 million, but they only had $1 million set aside for catering, so goodbye catering.
Hey, he fired them. He literally fired the catering company that soon before the
10
event.
days before the event.
And then they're just like, well, fuck. Now we have to find food for, like, thousands of people in 10 days.
So I'm wondering if at one point he started doing coke, because some of this just sounds like coke brain.
Yeah, it's gotta be. Like, there's no way in hell that this man was not doing drugs. Because any non-drug user would have been like, this isn't fucking working.
Yeah. And at this point, none of the ticket holders have received any information other than the original promotional videos and photos. And even some of that's being taken down.
Yeah.
I would just be like, you know what? Lost my money. Oh, well, that's on me.
Yeah, they literally had no flight information. They didn't know where they were fucking going, like, any of that. And, like, I'm a very, like, anal, organized person.
Yes.
And, like, I need to know, like, my whole fucking itinerary, like, in advance.
I need to know what I'm doing for the day.
Yeah, I have to plan this shit. And these people are just, like, 10 days out, and they have no idea. They're going to fucking Bahamas, like, an island, and they have no idea, like, what they need to bring. Like, is my tent gonna have electricity? Newsflash, no, it won't.
Well, they don't even know they're gonna be in tents.
Yeah.
They think they're gonna be in these little villas with outlets so they can charge their phones.
And, like, AC.
Yeah. People are asking logistical questions and getting no answers. At this point, yeah, I would just assume I lost my money. Wouldn't even try to go.
Yeah, his solution was literally to, like, delete all the
bad comments.
Yeah.
And
which, I mean,
you don't think no one's gonna notice that?
Yeah, like, oh, interesting. Like, everything's disappearing.
And with 2 days left, they're trying to figure out how to feed 5,000 people, find beds for 300 of them, and figure out how to get these people off the island once the festival's over. They don't even have that planned.
It's 2 days away and they have nothing built.
No.
Like, there's no anything. Like, it's just, like, the whole thing is just, watching this made me need to take a Xanax. And this man was living it, and he was just like, this is fine. We're going to go through with it. It's cool, it's cool, it's cool. And I'm like,
well,
I'm having a panic attack.
He has to go through because he took out so many loans and didn't get festival insurance. And all these other people have to just keep going along with them in hopes they'll get paid.
Right, because he's literally holding money over their head.
And again, if this is the Google age, just a quick search would have told you this guy is not good. Like, I don't understand it.
It was literally just this idea of money.
Yes.
Holding everyone in.
Because the one guy was like, well, I got 30%, but I have to stay if I want to get the rest of my money.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, just stop
You're not
wasting
getting
your
paid.
time.
You are not getting paid.
Just walk away. Cut your losses.
Seriously.
It sucks, but...
So many people should have just
You've
bowed
seen
out.
the way he's just firing people. Like, he doesn't care about you.
Right. Just, the whole thing.
People from Jerry Media start heading to the island, and when they get there, they discover they have to hitchhike because there's no cars available to rent. Oh, and it starts pouring rain the night before people are due to show up.
Yeah, literally the tents get fucking soaked.
All the work they've done to set these tents up, and now the mattresses are soaked. So the next morning, people are arriving to find that the private jets are not so private, and the music acts are starting to pull out. They arrive, are loaded up on a school bus.
Which, real classy. That's like a fucking camp, okay?
And taken to a restaurant to hang out for 6 hours while they're trying to finish the campsite. And I love the owner of the restaurant. She's delightful. This poor woman found out...
She makes this documentary. She was the best.
She found out 20 minutes before they started showing up that, hey, these people are coming here.
Yeah. Like, I can't even get, like, a table for, like, 20 people at a restaurant last minute, and there's, like, hundreds of fucking 20-something-year-olds just rolling up to this woman's restaurant.
So, yeah, after 6 hours, they start to head to the campsite to just see pure chaos. There's construction trash everywhere. There's mud in the tents, mattresses are soaked, and no one's there giving any instructions. And I love the reactions of the people when they start to see the campsite, like just the disbelief. They were all talking,
Yeah.
And then it just slowly got silent as they start to see.
Well, I think that they realized, too, that, like, something was fishy when they were at this restaurant for 6 fucking hours having, like, tequila poured down their throats.
Well, they
Just,
kind of
like,
started getting it when they were like, oh, we're not on private jets.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
they're on
like-
school
like,
buses.
this is like a commercial flight.
Yes.
And then, a school bus.
This is like
again.
going for summer camp.
Yeah, exactly. And then showing up and, like, it's a summer camp. Actually, my kids had a better time at summer camp.
than these people did. And eventually Billy tells the crowd to just go grab a tent.
Yeah, because that's totally awesome. Like, just
So,
chaos.
Of course, they freak the fuck out, just start scrambling to try to find a tent to sleep in. And at 8:30, 2 giant container trucks show up filled with people's luggage. So again, it's just a free-for-all, people scrambling to get their shit. There's no organization, and once the sun goes down, there's no lighting.
Yeah, it was literally just fucking chaos.
And throughout all of this, they've been pouring alcohol down their throats.
Yeah, so it's drunk, belligerent 20-somethings.
And it's constantly referred to as Lord of the Flies, but I feel like those kids handled it much better than these people.
They were way more organized.
Yeah, these assholes are destroying surrounding tents so they wouldn't have anybody sleeping close to them, or hoarding toilet paper and pillows.
Laying it out like a pallet.
Like, these assholes couldn't even make it through one night. God, and the fire people are still trying to make this happen and save it. The next day, the media picks up on the story, and it's fucking done. So once workers on the island find out it's been canceled, they immediately show up demanding to be paid, which rightfully so.
Yeah, these poor people just, like,
They've been working
fucking totally ripped off.
working their asses off for 6 weeks, and they haven't seen a dime.
No, yeah. It just, again, everything was just the idea of money. There was no money, it was just the idea of money.
People are still arriving at the airport, and they're basically locked in and given no food or water because, again, they were told it was a cashless event. So they're just stuck until transportation can figure out how to get them back home. And Billy's gone. As soon as this is canceled, he's gone.
Dude, I imagine that if, like, he had stuck around, he probably would have been lynched.
No, he just left and his people are going to deal with the bullshit.
Yeah, his people that he's not even paying.
So Monday morning comes up. Fyre comes in to have a team meeting to try to fix their PR, which the poor people who have worked on the fucking app are just like, you told us not to be involved with this festival, so leave us out of this.
Yeah, like, they didn't have any part in it at all.
Ja Rule's like, hey, nobody died. And that one dude was like, yeah, but you guys lied to a lot of people. It's fraud. Which Ja Rule jumped in. It's not fraud. I would call that false advertising.
Which, by the way, is fraud.
My man, I know you can't be that dumb.
I died in that part. I was like,
No, it's not fraud.
it was not fraud. That is fraud. False advertisement, that's fraud.
fraud. And the lawsuits pour in immediately, and FTC cracks down on influencers for not mentioning that the Fyre Festival posts were advertising. Again, people are so dumb to fall for that shit. Billy calls the 20 to 30 employees of Fyre Media to say, I'm not firing you, but there's no paycheck. Meaning you'll eventually have to quit and not be able to file for unemployment.
Well, and that's what the girl said, too, in the phone call. She was like, so you're telling me that, like, you're not firing me, but you're basically blocking my ability to get unemployment because you're not firing me, you're not paying me. Like that's not a thing.
That was when I was like, fuck this guy. Like, you are screwing over these people who have stood by you trying to get this app. They believed in this app.
These were good people. And he just fucked over, like, everyone. Every single person. He just, oh my God.
Such a
he
piece
has
of shit.
A punchable face. Like, every
and then
time
even
I looked at him.
if these people go on to find another job, how is that going to look to have Fyre Media on your application?
You leave that shit off.
Like, that's... And then the recorded phone call they play is great. When they're like, has anyone else received any visits from the FBI? I was like, oh.
And they're like, who's been visited by the FBI?
Well, other than the people we've already discussed. Like, how many people? So, Billy fucked over 100 investors at a $27.4 million. Just completely inflating the books on the company and saying it was worth $90 million when it earned only $60,000. That's a huge difference. And then he said he had $2.56 million in Facebook stock when really he had less than $1,500.
Yeah, it was just like...
Not only that, he left other employees...
I would just like to say that, like, in the end, like, this guy is worth probably about as much money as I am. Like, and I'm fucking, like, a little middle-class woman living in Texas.
So, not only that, he left other employees owing hundreds of thousands of dollars by asking them to purchase things on their own credit card and then not paying them back.
And that's... I will literally never front my own money for anything.
No.
I don't care how much I love a company that I work for. I'm not fucking putting any money forward without something, like, right there immediately. Because just no.
And it's just so sad because there were so many red flags. I feel so bad for these people, but then it's also like, you could have just walked away at any point. Just cut your losses. It's okay.
Instead, they stuck it out to the end and lost even more money.
Yeah.
Like, it just... If you're not getting paid, you owe nothing to this person. Literally nothing. I don't do anything in life that I'm not receiving some sort of compensation for.
Yeah.
Like, just no.
Especially when that guy was like, oh yeah, it was like $250,000 or something. I'm like, why?
Like, what?
Are you paying for your mother to get a new kidney or something? Why are you paying this much to this guy?
Seriously, it was mind-blowing that these people just, I mean...
Believed in him so much.
And I don't know if it's just because, like, you and I, again, like, we've had, you know, kids early in life, and, like, we have a lot more responsibilities and stuff like that, but, like, I'm not fronting any of that shit. Like, I'll buy my friends dinner or something like that, but, like, I'm not just millions, hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Like, fuck you guys.
Yes.
Like, that's not happening. Like...
I'll give you $20 for gas to get home. That's it.
Seriously, I will give some cash to a homeless person, but, like, I got kids to feed.
And then on top of this, hundreds of Bahamian workers were never paid, which added up to about $250,000. The restaurant owner had 10 people working underneath her who had to spend all day and night working to get these people fed. She went through $50,000 out of her own savings to pay her employees and to cover the cost of all the food.
I literally, when she said that and she started, breaking down about how, like, she literally had to spend her own life savings to pay these people, like, she didn't have to pay these people. Like, she could have just been like, sorry, I didn't get paid, so you don't get paid. Yeah. But she paid out of her own savings. Like, that was devastating because she seemed like such a good person. And, she was just totally fucked over by this fucking, like, pretentious frat boy.
Yeah. So let's get into the fun part. Billy was arrested by federal agents on June 30th, 2017 and charged with wire fraud in relation to Fyre and Fyre Festival. He was released on $300,000 bail on July 1st and moved into his parents' house. Fuck whoever paid that bail.
I also, like, they said he moved into his parents' house, but, like, it didn't look like he was living in his parents' house.
That bail just really pissed me off. All these people who didn't get paid, but you're gonna pay to have this motherfucker out of jail?
Yeah, no, he should have set his ass there and thought about what he did.
And he didn't stay with his parents long because shortly after, he asked some friends to come hang out and record him, and he's staying in a penthouse. How could he afford this penthouse? He was back to scamming people again.
Literally
while on bail.
While watching, I could not fucking believe this motherfucker.
Fucking idiot. And he's doing it while people are recording him.
That was, like, even, like,
how
you
stupid.
Invited someone over to video you scamming people while you're in, like, on bail for scamming people.
You're making it so easy.
He really is. Like, I feel like he didn't even need a trial.
So he's rearrested and charged with 5 additional felonies for fraud, money laundering, identity theft, obstruction of justice, and witness tampering for warning people not to talk to the FBI.
Which, FYI, you can't do that.
No. All right, let's get into the aftermath. October 11th, 2018, McFarland was sentenced to 6 years in federal prison and 3 years of probation, and is banned from ever serving as a corporate officer or director. That's such a bullshit amount of time.
It really is. He should have gotten way more time, and, like, it should have been, like, a lifetime ban on, like, ever starting a company, running a company, like, any, like, just, if you're not working for, like, fucking McDonald's, like, you're banned.
Yeah, you're not allowed to have more than $100 on you at any time.
Yeah, seriously.
Because you owe so much money to people. In April 2020, during the COVID-19 pandemic, McFarland requested compassionate release to avoid contracting the virus because he has asthma, and he was especially vulnerable to the virus. Request denied.
Thank God, if there's any justice.
And then in July 2020, it was reported that McFarland tested positive for COVID-19.
I don't wish COVID on anyone, but, like, if anyone deserved COVID,
I don't want him to end up in the hospital with it, but to have 2 weeks of the inconvenience
of having COVID, yeah. Like, just end the whole, like, if anyone should lose their sense of smell and taste, it should be this guy.
Yeah, not me. Bullshit.
Seriously, he deserved it.
As of May 2020, McFarland was housed at the Millen Federal Correctional Institute located in Michigan and is scheduled to be released August 30th, 2023. So 2 years.
Just too soon. I don't, like, there are people who literally get caught with drugs who are serving more prison time than this man who ripped off millions of dollars from poor people who
and was still doing it on bail.
Seriously, just, he didn't learn any lesson. There was no lesson learned. It's not like he just, like, fucked up and got it in over his head and was just like, oh man, I really screwed up. Like, ugh.
He's recently gotten in trouble in prison for being involved with a podcast and for possessing a flash drive. I'm sure he's not in a big hurry to get out because he owes millions due to lawsuits, and
seriously, I hope they are garnishing any wages this man ever gets.
I don't know who runs his Instagram account, but they're really trying to make us feel sorry for him, and it's not working. Fuck him.
Dude was like literally getting shit-faced on a beach surrounded by fucking
Yeah, and they're like,
supermodels.
he's been in solitary confinement for this amount of days. I'm like, I
Probably
don't give a
because
shit.
everyone wants to beat his ass.
Yeah, I don't give a shit.
No sympathy.
No.
Zero sympathy.
Marianne Roll, who runs the Exuma Point Bar and Grill, received over $200,000 from GoFundMe.
Thank God.
A class action settlement was reached a few months ago. It was supposed to be $2 million, but instead only $1.4 million in assets were recovered, most of which went to other parties and lawyers. So while attendees thought they would walk away with $7,200 each, they're probably only going to get about $280.
That is just disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.
Don't worry. Ja Rule got off scot-free and actually made money by selling a Fyre Festival NFT for $122,000. I'm so upset that he just walked away.
Because again, that was fraud.
Yeah, he actually has money though.
Yeah. He should be responsible for paying these fucking people back. Like, all those people on that fucking island who literally were just working tirelessly for nothing.
Nobody died. It's fine.
There are situations that are worse than death. Like working for several weeks without pay to support your family and then getting nothing. That is fucking awful. Like, that is fraud. That's a fucking criminal offense. Fuck Ja Rule.
And in February 2021, he completed an online course at Harvard Business School. No degree, but I guess a certificate for completing a course. I don't know why that was important. And also this year...
This man should never be allowed to do any business, anything.
Oh, hold on. Also this year, Ja Rule partnered with a team of software engineers to launch Flipkick, a platform focusing on selling physical works of art or NFT. Sounds great. He learned nothing.
And just everything about this is disgusting. Like, just all of it is disgusting. He should have served time. He should have been, like, fined so much money. He should have had to pay people back. Like, just all of this.
He even said multiple times, we're partners in crime.
Yeah. And he's a criminal.
So if you're going to spend thousands of dollars on something you know nothing about, just make sure you do a little bit of Googling.
Seriously. Just, if you have thousands of dollars to spend on something that you know nothing about, like, maybe you should think about investing or something. I don't know.
At least use it to go to the resort that was on the island where everything's already
go
there
to
for you.
Go to fucking Sandals. Where you literally won't be sleeping in a tent that's, like, soaked in water and mud. Like, just eating a fucking sandwich that looks like it was, like, made by a fucking...
There's outlets to charge your phone. Fyre Festival can't say that.
You can still get shit-faced. Can still booze. Like, all that stuff. Like, just fucking mind-blowing. Like, I feel like the people who have the money to blow like this don't have the brains to, like... And,
like, Run Funches even was like, you're spending all this money to go see Blink-182 and it happens to you? It's funny. It is.
It is. And I think that, like, they were right. Like, a lot of people didn't have sympathy about this whole Fyre Festival because, again, like, these were a bunch of, like, pretentious, like, 20-somethings who had money to throw at this fucking weird-ass festival they had nothing to know about. Like, And, I didn't have any sympathy because, like, if you're gonna get ripped off, like...
You lost a little bit of money, you were inconvenienced for one night.
Yeah.
There are worse things.
Right. My whole rage about this comes from, like, the people who were working on this and being scammed. Like, the people on the island who didn't deserve this.
The people who worked for Fyre Media.
Exactly. My sympathy goes to those people because they were, like, totally kept in the dark. They were blindsided. They were ripped off. Like, my sympathy is for those people because they didn't just, like, lose a little bit of, like, their money. But, like, whatever. Like, you had a bad day. Like, that was a big deal for them.
Yeah. Pays to be white.
It does. Well, seriously, it pays to be white and it pays to have money. Because when you think about it, like, there are people who are serving longer terms for lesser offenses.
Oh, that one woman who went to prison for how long because she voted when she didn't know she wasn't allowed to vote.
Just...
It's insane.
There are children who are serving life sentences.
My husband wanted to remind me that that man was willing to suck dick for water. We didn't mention that.
We didn't mention that.
Just because Billy asked him to, because he was gay. Of course he'll do it. That part pissed me off.
Well, and that was like, what? Like,
it's like, you're gay, you'll do it. No, it's not how it works.
Yeah, no, it's just like, I mean, you're heterosexual. Are you gonna like fuck any like woman just because, you know, you're straight?
God,
like, no, this isn't.
He's such an
Not
asshole.
to mention that, like, he didn't have to suck dick for the water. He just had to give him some money.
Yeah.
Which
it was basically, these people were smart, didn't want to deal with Billy because they knew he wasn't going to pay him. So they're like, just give us some of our money. Make sure we're the first ones paid. We don't trust this guy.
Yeah, rightfully so. Mind-blowing. Laughed a lot through this documentary.
Just because I'm like, why did you fall for this?
Yeah.
Why did you fall for this?
Apparently there were a lot of people who were born yesterday.
Yeah.
So many people got fooled, and it was...
Not Blink-182.
They were probably the only people who were smart in this situation and pulled out.
Yeah, and they still got some money.
Yeah.
They didn't get the full amount they were going to be paid for showing up, but they got some of it.
And like I said, like, these weren't, like, huge, big-name acts
No,
either. Like, I'm not
it's
paying...
not Cher showing up.
Yeah, I'm not paying thousands of dollars to go see Blink-182 on a beach. Like, I feel like I could do that for, like,
it was like
$50 anywhere.
Blink-182 and Major Lazer, those were the only ones I recognized. But we're in our 30s. I don't know.
Yeah, again, you're right. Maybe we're just not cool enough.
I don't know.
But we didn't lose thousands of dollars, so...
Nope. No, we did not.
Sometimes it pays to be uncool.
You done bitching now?
I still have so much rage in my heart. There's a lot of rage there. But
Keep
I'm
drinking.
done.
Keep drinking.
But
You
I'm
gotta
done
drown
bitching.
out the rage.
But I'm done bitching. I will say, again, for like the 100th time, the dude had a punchable face. And it was within reason.
He did.
Like, it just looks like a douchebag.
Yeah, he does.
Again, if you're not getting paid, guys, bow out.
Just walk away.
You owe nobody anything.
No. All right, I think that's going to do it for us this week.
There's so much rage in my heart. I can feel it. Just on to the next thing to rage about.
I know. I'm sure there'll be something new in the morning.
Oh, yeah. There's always something new.
All right, thanks for listening. We'll be back next week.
Bye.
Bye.